Matt, you mentioned like a lot of different product ideas that you want to be working towards. And Paul also mentioned, longevity. That when you think about runway that Unstoppable has, I mean, is there anything you can speak to around, crypto is so volatile and so many companies don't make it. Like, what is there to say around this, around how long we'll be here for the future? Unstoppable is not going away, right?
Yeah, no, we're here for the long, long run. And listen, you don't want to be thinking about all the financial things when you're trying to build and run a company. You really want to just focus on customers and creating value for your users and your partners. And that's a big part of why companies take this funding, is because that's just one of those variables you don't want to have on the table when you're sitting around and thinking about building out your products for your end users. So, it's super helpful. Definitely brings into focus the more important things, which is like making sure you're building awesome products and getting those into customers' hands. And it's helpful to not have to worry about that. And then we also have a longer term time horizon. So markets up, markets down. We all know that crypto over a 10-year time span is just expanding tremendously, 50% plus growth year over year the past decade. We think it'll be the same thing going forward until literally every person on the planet has this. And just fundamentally, if everyone on the planet's going to be using crypto and sending it back and forth to each other, they're not going to send it to hex addresses, right? So every single person on the planet is going to have an NFT domain. So we know that's where the market is going. We're very confident. And, the most important thing you got to do as a startup founder is just make sure you survive and get to the finish line. And that's part of, just being responsible founders of companies. And we've put ourselves in that position. So yeah, we're excited to not have to worry about it basically, and really just focus on driving value for customers and partners.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we're not worrying about it, but how would like someone in the community celebrate this with us too?
Well, definitely change your Twitter handle to your .nft, .x, or .crypto domain name. Please join us on Discord and Telegram and get in there. We have some swag. We actually have a swag store coming out soon, so you'll be able to get your own Unstoppable swag soon enough. I know that's been a top request from people in the community. And, use the products. So we've got a lot of stuff to use. Check out our Discord, follow a couple of our people on the team from the product team on Twitter, so you can use the new stuff. We just had email released, like pseudonymous email, just went out. So I think that's a pretty cool feature for communication across the space, and we're just going to keep building.
Yeah, I love the building in public that I've been seeing from the engineering team, and Paul too. You write a blog about all the investments that you're making. I mean, what's the value you see from yourself and also companies like building in public and sharing as they go with their community? Because Web3 is so community driven.
It really is. And, I think just to finish off on what Matt said, I mean, in general, like funding rounds like this are really great because it gives companies like Unstoppable a bit of flexibility in terms of creating shareholder value. You don't have to focus on sort of just tremendous monetization right away. You can actually focus on building product and building an engaged user base, and eventually, figuring out like the best monetization strategies later on. Think about like Facebook, if they didn't raise any capital, they probably would have to turn on advertising right away. Now they had an opportunity to build a user base and then turn on advertising later on. So the flexibility that gives entrepreneurs when you do raise capital, and especially sort of large and strategic capital, and then being able to maybe even do things like acquisitions, et cetera, which we'll see what happens. But on the community side of things, it's amazing. Never have we ever seen so many companies go quote unquote public so quickly, right? Launching a token. And for us, I mean, it's one factor in venture capital that you wouldn't have to sort of think about this early unless you're in Web3 and crypto. We really do want to make sure that folks are building the right communities. If you're not, doing something with the token, then maybe you don't have to start in a Telegram group or a Discord group so early. But, nevertheless, I mean, there's an advantage to that because this space is built off of transparency. It's built off of virality. It's built off of communication, and therefore companies that take advantage of being active on Twitter, doing podcasts, Discord channels, Telegram channels, and all this really just enhances the ability for a product to really get out to the mainstream a bit quicker and be able to sort of spread a bit faster. And so to me, I mean, Unstoppable Domains has been doing all the right things around what you should be doing when you're building community, especially when you have a token, even though they don't have a token. But I think it really just shows the fact that, Matt and Brad and the rest of the team, they're crypto native. They've been in the space a long time. During the last bull market, they sort of know what it takes to get their early adopters involved in the company, involved in the community. And that's going to go a long way because a lot of those early adopters are also the entrepreneurs in the space that they're going to be partnering up with. And so to be able to really have a place where people can talk about their product, share their product, I think it's tremendous. And, to me, I mean, when I looked at Unstoppable Domains early on, it was really the fact that I don't want to be trying to remember all of these, public addresses. It just seemed insane. And so if we can get beyond that, I think that's the first initial huge pain point that Unstoppable is solving. I mean, once you can start, removing that out of the picture and then giving people a lot more creativity around their domain space, around their identity, then it just opens up so many more doors, which, Matt has talked about, in terms of where the company can sort of go from sort of a product and vision perspective.
Yeah. And that's when I heard you say that the funding can allow you to focus on shareholder value in kind of crypto terms that everyone talks about online in the community, that's utility, right? So now you can focus on that utility, which is more features and really focusing on what you can do with the domain you've already purchased. You're listening to the Unstoppable Podcast, the go-to place for everyone to learn about the latest innovations in Web3, NFTs, and the decentralized web. Welcome to the metaverse.